welcome to January's edition of Lyons Pride, and we're here to celebrate January Students of the Month. I'm Steve Murray, principal of Chelmsford High School. I'm here with our host, Mr. Al Thomas from the Rotary Club, and our co-host, Dean Josh Blagg from Hawthorne House. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to Chelmsford Telemedia for our new digs, a new location here at Chelmsford High School, moving over from Parker, and the Theater Guild. They built this wonderful desk, and Mr. Russo, he built and designed the lion you can see in the front there, hanging in the front of our desk. So well, thank you to Chelmsford Telemedia, Theater Guild, and Mr. Russo. So with that, we'll start with Hawthorne House, and our first student of the month. I'll turn over to Dean Blagg to introduce.
Yeah, I'm really excited to introduce Emma DeWitt as one of our Hawthorne Students of the Month. Emma is one of our most talented students here at Chelmsford High School. She's a tremendous student and tremendously involved in all of our extracurriculars. She's taken a really rigorous course schedule to her senior year. She's taking a couple AP courses in English and environmental science, along with pre-calculus and digital filmmaking, advanced guitar, advanced acting, and concert choir. She's very much heavily involved in the fine arts, which we love. She's a member of the National Honor Society and the English Honor Society. She's a member of our Theater Guild and our award-winning, internationally ranked a cappella group, the Thursdays. And she also has been involved in the Middlesex Community College's Children's Theater. She hopes to go on to major in acting, perhaps at Pace University or the Hart School at the University of Hartford, or maybe even Syracuse, and maybe continue a career on the stage or on the silver screen, and or come back and teach acting someday. So congratulations, Emma.
Thank you.
I noticed you were in a lot of our plays. Mm-hmm. So in those plays, which one stands out that you enjoyed the most, and why would that be?
If I could choose, well, I'm going to say two, because these two are very different from each other. But, I mean, the last show I was in, Chicago, was definitely a highlight. Being able to play Roxy Hart was so much fun, and it was such a cool challenge. And working with Miss Cochran and Miss Rader and Andrea, Lowe, and Connor, that show was such a amazing experience. It's such a big learning experience, and the other people in the cast that I got to work with, like Allison, Dorsey, Olivia Buckley, Kevin Hamilton, they're all amazing. So it was really fun to be in that production. But another show that I really loved was my sophomore year for our festival play for the Massachusetts Educational Theater Guild Drama Fest. We did Ahead of the Class, which is an original written by Mrs. Cochran, and it was so much fun. It was such a funny show. And
it was a really good show.
Thank you.
Down in Boston, Hancock Theater.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
One of the things that, because you are so invested in the acting, is that you want to continue that to the next level, either in college and or professionally. And you're currently in the process of trying to enter some of these programs, which is very different than applying to a regular school as, say, a biology major. Can you kind of talk to the people out there about what that process is? Because you are constantly putting yourself out there and taking those risks.
Yeah, the college audition process is definitely very rigorous. Basically, what a lot of schools have been starting to do is they started doing a pre-screen, which basically is you send in your audition material, which usually consists of 1 or 2 monologues, 2 songs, and a dance video about 1 minute. And you send all of that in as well as your resume and your other college supplements, et cetera, like the standard college application. And they review it, and then within a month or so, they'll let you know whether or not they want you to come in for an in-person audition. It depends on generally the amount of people that are auditioning for the school, whether or not they do pre-screens, but a lot of the bigger schools like Pace and Syracuse do.
Great.
And what do you look forward to most going into college? You're going to be studying acting, you said, mm-hmm. And I know you mentioned earlier. What is the one you want to focus on? Is it going to be the art of acting, or is it teaching it, or?
Well, all the schools I've applied to, I've just applied for the actor training programs. Well, I originally applied for both musical theater and actor training, but I've decided to focus on specifically acting. So those classes are mostly about the performance aspects of it. There are some classes and required things that have to do with education as well as the business of acting. So if I end up deciding to go back and do education, then I'll have to go back and get a teaching degree, but we'll see what happens.
That's great.
Well, you have impressive credentials, and I'm sure everything's going to work out. On behalf of the Rotary Club, I want to congratulate you on your outstanding achievement and wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Thank you so
Emma.
much.
Hawthorne's really proud to announce Guillaume Bosch as our Hawthorne Student of the Month. Guillaume is an extraordinarily talented student who's very committed to not only his academics but his extracurriculars. He's taken a very, very difficult course load. He's taking 6 APs, including psychology, calculus, English, physics, chemistry, and Spanish. And for a little bit of funny, he's taking guitar as well. So he's certainly challenging himself. He is currently the vice president of DECA. He's the secretary of our science team. He's the co-president of our illustrious badminton club. He's a member of the Key Club and the Interact Club. So he's heavily involved. He hopes to major in physics at either McGill University, Lehigh University, or UMass Amherst, and then wants to continue his research and expanding the knowledge of the world around him. So that's it. That's Guillaume Bosch. Congratulations.
Thank you. I just want to thank everybody for having me here and picking me as the January Student of the Month. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well deserved.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
It looks pretty impressive to me that you're going to be a leader at DECA International. First, where will it be and what will you be doing?
Oh, that was sophomore year.
Sophomore
but
year, okay,
this year the competition is in Tennessee, Nashville.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to see if I can get in. Yeah.
So what did you do when you were there as a sophomore?
As a sophomore, I attended classes, or kind of classes, in Orlando.
Tough place to go, huh?
Yeah. Which kind of showed me how to be a leader and how to improve our DECA chapter.
Great.
And you speak 3 languages, French, Spanish, and Dutch?
Yeah.
So 4.
Oh, yeah, English, good point, English, yeah, good point. So how did you learn Dutch? What made you learn Dutch, and how do you get to practice it?
So I learned French through my mom, and I learned Dutch through my dad. So me and my dad, we speak it at home. So it's just kind of like an on and off practice, unconscious. Yeah,
It's a great skill to have.
it is. Yeah.
What first sparked your interest in science and physics in particular? So much so that you want to, make it a career.
It's mostly the classes at CHS that kind of inspired me to be like a scientific person. First, the biology class freshman year with Mrs. Brule. That was a great class. I loved it. Then chemistry sophomore year, and junior year and senior year physics with Mrs. Hubbard. I've just really enjoyed the analytical point of view to like analyze things and solve problems based off those analyzations.
Wonderful. Good for you.
Yeah, and so what schools are you looking at? What are you
I've chosen McGill as my choice. Yeah.
Fantastic. What made you choose McGill?
So they're a good school in Canada, and they have a pretty good physics program. And the Canadian schools are genuinely cheaper than the schools in the United States.
That's true.
So I weighed all the options and figured it's a cheaper school. It's also really good. So I've chosen it. Yeah.
Now, is that in Quebec?
Yeah, Montreal. Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be able to practice some French too up there while you're up there. Right?
Yeah, it works out.
Yeah, that works out really well.
And how's the badminton club going?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
We've met maybe a dozen or so times this year. Not that much compared to a few years ago, but we're looking to meet after winter sports end. Actually, they've already ended, so soon. And before the spring sports start, so it's going pretty well.
Excellent.
So can you talk to me, as vice president of DECA, you must be heavily involved in Mr. CHS right now.
Yes.
I know that a ton of work goes into that extravaganza, and it really helps to fund the international competition, right? So where are you at with that planning, and give us a projection of the talent or lack thereof for Mr. CHS?
Yeah, so we're in the middle of rehearsing talents for all the contestants. We've narrowed it down to, I think, 11 now. We're finalizing our theme for Mr. CHS, and we're starting to get rehearsals together with the dance team and everything. It's actually looking pretty good this year. I'd equate it or even better than the previous years, so it's looking to be a good show.
Excellent. Look forward to it every year.
Yeah, it's long-standing.
Yeah, that's right.
On behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary Club, I want to recognize that you've done very well here. I couldn't even count that many APs, never mind being that many APs. So no, it's very impressive, and I'm sure that you'll have a good time as well as a great educational experience at McGill. So best of luck.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Guillaume.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Our next student of the month is from Whittier House. It is Foram Patel. Foram is currently enrolled in AP Literature, AP Statistics, AP Biology, AP Computer Science, AP Calculus, and Orchestra. Foram is a member of the National Honor Society, the National English Honor Society, the National Spanish Honor Society, and the National Science Honor Society. Foram is serving as the Publicity Chair for the National Honor Society. She is in the Speech and Debate Club, serving as the captain, and she is the secretary for the Key Club. Foram is a freshman mentor and an accomplished dancer, which we'd like to hear more about. Next year, Foram plans to attend a four-year university and study computer science. Welcome, Foram.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All the APs, right? So it looks like 5, I counted those right. How do you balance all of those, that coursework and all of your service through all of your clubs and also all your other activities?
To be honest, it's more about experience. I think through my 4 years of high school, I've learned how to manage my time and how to still enjoy the things that I've done and kind of separate or identify what I actually want to be dedicated to. So I think by my senior year, I found really what I love to do and prioritize that. So it's a lot easier to time manage when you're doing what you like to do.
Totally agree. That's a great outlook. Computer science, you're in it right now. Ms. KB is your teacher. You're hoping to get into that field. Why are you interested in computer science? Like, what has been, the thing that has made you decide that that's where you want to head?
To be honest, I wasn't really sure before senior year. So during my summer, I interned at Tufts Health Plan, which is a health insurance company. And I kind of just shadowed a quality assurance team and just saw what they did and saw what a normal workday looked like and got to interview some people. And that kind of set my mind on that path. My family is actually full of computer scientists, so I already had some exposure to that, but that really, I think, solidified what I wanted to do.
That's excellent. Publicity chair.
Yes.
Have an idea? What does a publicity chair do for the NHS?
So basically, my job is to publicize every event that we hold. We've held 2 main events so far as on my time on NHS. So I kind of work on making posters, spreading the word not only to CHS, but the Chelmsford community, and try to get as many people to come in and participate so that we can have the biggest or the best outcome possible.
Is anything coming up like this late winter, early spring for NHS? I know the fall is big and stuff like that. Anything
We're
events you want
hoping-
to publicize now?
Yeah. We're actually hoping to do a coffee night sort of thing where people can perform and there will be food, and the money for the tickets will help some organization. We're still figuring out exactly what we want to do, but that's definitely on the list.
That's awesome. Speech and debate. I know Mr. Zobes is the advisor, and he takes it very serious. And you just had an event, I think, 2 weekends ago? I think he went.
Yeah.
You went somewhere. What was the event? His outlook was. He was optimistic, but knew kind of where we were going to stand. But tell us about the event and the quality of competition that you saw, and like what the club's about.
So we have a lot of local tournaments that just kind of go on through the year. It's many Saturdays a month. I'm not sure exactly which one that one was, but most of these local tournaments are this area, the high schoolers from this area who are competing. There's different speech competitions, different speech events, and then there's different debate events. So it kind of depends on what event you're doing. So I don't necessarily get to see everybody compete, but in my event, I get to see all the talent that's in our area, which is really cool and really inspiring, actually. So even if we don't place as well as we'd hoped, I've learned a lot just by watching other people perform at these events.
Another competition area that you've been involved with apparently is DECA. What type of competition were you involved there? Because I know there are a lot of different kinds.
So I did DECA my sophomore year, and I was actually on in the advertising campaign event. So we found a local restaurant, and we learned more about them and figured out how to advertise it as best as possible. So that was an interesting experience.
Well, you have impressive credentials leaving Chelmsford High School, so I'm sure you'll do very well. On behalf of the Rotary Club Chelmsford, I want to congratulate you and wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats,
so much.
Foram.
Thank you.
Our next student of the month is Kenny Dunn. Kenny is currently enrolled in Senior Odyssey, Pre-Calculus, Physics, Reality Check, Design Engineering, and he has an independent study in Marketing. He's a member of the National Honor Society, the National English Honor Society, and the National Business Honor Society. He's a member of the varsity ice hockey and varsity boys volleyball teams. He's an active member in DECA and the Interact Club. Kenny plans to attend a four-year college, but would certainly like to study, but I know business is a field of his enjoyment, so he would like to own a business someday. Welcome.
Thank you.
Kenny, talk to us about the National Business Honor Society. We hear a lot about the National English, the National Honor, the National Spanish, but we don't get a lot of students in the National Business Honor Society. Kind of tell us what it's about, and also like what are the qualifications to get in there, and what you do as a group.
Yeah, so with that honor society, I mean, a lot of kids don't really realize that it even exists. And a lot of kids just take business classes to take them, get the credits. But I kind of took them because I knew I wanted to own a business, I want to go into that field. And I just wanted to excel in a different class that wasn't just math, science, or English. And to get in, I think you need a 3.0 GPA across all 4 years of high school, whatever business classes you take. Yeah. So it's like an A- average. And Mr. Souza runs it very well. I really enjoyed both classes with him and Mr. Shute.
How many students do you think are in it like this year?
I think there's around 50 or 60.
Awesome. Very good. DECA. Talk to us about your DECA experience and how that ties into the business world and what you want to do in the future. Any ideas of what type of business you want?
Yeah, so with DECA, I got into a junior year. Mr. Shute really convinced me in the personal finance class, so I went into that. I actually made it to states. I got 6th in my category, even though I wasn't expecting to. It was my first year. And ever since then, I just kind of really liked being put on the spot in front of somebody and like talking to them about just some random topic I had to like research. And this year, me and my group got 5th. We made it to states. We did a business startup plan, and we had to pitch it to a professional about the category, and he actually really enjoyed it, and he wrote like nice comments for us. So
that's great. What was your category? What was your startup? What company did you go
we did an ice cream stand.
Nice.
Yes.
Which fits with your current work at working at Gary, so that's good. What type of business do you want to get into, potentially owning? I know.
I've really been into cars and like the automotive industry or the sports industry.
Awesome.
So either of those works.
Good.
The two sports you've been involved with, hockey and volleyball, are both great sports, but we don't have a lot of people who take those two sports together. What was the attraction, and what do you like about the two so different sports?
Well, with hockey, it's been a sport I've loved ever since I was younger. And then volleyball kind of came into this equation in like 8th grade. My best friend actually was like, "Oh, you should try volleyball." And I tried it out, and I really enjoyed it. And I just wanted to like be something bigger than myself. And I felt like joining two different teams, especially a team that or a sport that people don't really see as like a manly sport and stuff like that. I wanted to prove people wrong, and I really enjoyed it.
It's an awesome group in every year. It's very competitive. The coach does a great job. Team's a good group of kids, so it's good.
Well, Springfield is ranked 2nd in the country right now, and they play New Paltz, who's the top this weekend. It's an easy place to get to. I know Miller a couple of years ago went out to see it. If you want to, these guys are all like 6'7", and talk about contact. Yeah. I mean, people who think it's just lobbing it over the net, that's not what it's about.
Get out of the way.
Very fast.
So what will you do for fun when you're in college, outside of classes?
I'm looking to join intramural hockey clubs and potentially volleyball clubs because I want to continue being athletic and throughout college.
That's awesome.
Very good. Well, you've been very successful at Chelmsford High School, and no matter what college you end up with or what occupation you take, I'm sure this background will serve you very well. And on behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary Club, I want to congratulate you and wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're welcoming Emerson House's Students of the Month for January. Our first student is Alex Schultz. Alex is a great young man, really dedicated student, great kid. He's taken multiple AP courses. He's taken AP Psych, AP Bio, AP English Lit, AP Calc, other rigorous courses as well. He's a member of the National Honor Society, English Honor Society, French and Science Honor Society. He's a member of the boys varsity swim team, class rep, student council, interactive club, key club, a freshman mentor. He volunteers for American Red Cross, Be Like Brit. He works at the Russell Mill Swim Club, and he enjoys cycling. And he's looking to pursue a degree in engineering after Chelmsford High School. So welcome, Alex. You got a very impressive resume there.
Thank you for having me.
So I noticed that one of the things you enjoy doing is restoring vintage automobiles. How did you get into that?
So my dad just likes Audis. He's been working on them since he was probably a teenager or early adult, and he just likes how they run better and can last longer. So he has his whole Audi network and would go to friends, junkyards, pick them up, and so he found this one from a friend through Facebook, where it was sitting for like probably 9 years in the garage, and this wanted out. So I helped him take it out of there, clean it up, and I was like, mine. I like it. So a project, we're still working on it, but this past summer I helped strip the entire interior. It was mouse infested, so that was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
And hopefully after the snow melts, we can get working on the engine and get it running for the summer.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's great. Here at Chelmsford High School, what have been some of your favorite courses here?
Some of my favorite courses, I really liked, even though it's, people say it's the hardest course, I think it still is one of the hardest courses, AP Chemistry.
Yeah.
Because first of all, Miss Collins, she's a real character. I like the sarcasm and it's like the dry humor. But also, she challenges you and forces you to put in effort. And there are some courses that you could just glide by in, but she makes you really like have to learn and put in the effort to do well and succeed.
So how do you find time to do all the things that you do? You've got a very rigorous course load. You're involved with different clubs and activities and sports here. How do you manage your time, Alex?
Freshman year, I actually started focusing on managing my time more. Like, I'll get home, like, have dinner at a specific time, do homework, and then it just kind of meshed into just part of my life. And it's not too difficult now. Sometimes it can get a little overwhelming, but I just try to work one step at a time. And if I get a little less sleep, I get a little less sleep.
All right. So you're looking at potentially engineering as a major. What schools have you taken a look at, and what are your interests?
So I think I want to focus on biomedical engineering, just because I like all the implications of that. And my top is Tufts. I actually hear from them tonight. After this, and Northeastern, I'm still waiting to hear from. WPI, I've heard from, and they're probably my second or third choice. And I've heard from some of the UMasses already.
That's exciting. Well, good luck with all that.
Thank you.
The swim team's had a decent year.
Oh, it's been a great season.
Sometimes you have a good team and it doesn't gel. I got a feeling this team not only had a good season but gelled. Has it been fun?
It's been really fun. I joined in junior year after I hurt myself during track, and it just immediately felt like an open family. When you're down or have a bad race, everyone just brings each other up and you just go on to cheering for the next person. It's been a real fun experience, and especially us winning the MVCs this past week, actually.
How'd you do there?
I did really well. I broke the personal records, personal goals I set for myself for the season.
Yeah.
I dropped over 6 seconds in my 100 freestyle.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And over a second in my 50 freestyle.
I felt that safe asking that because everybody dropped their best times.
It was a really fun meet.
Yeah. Big ones coming up too.
You have a good freshman group as well.
Oh yeah.
They did very well.
They're spectacular.
Yeah, Coach Vitale does a great job with you guys. So talk about him as a coach and as a mentor and his impact on you as a person.
He really has gives us like father persona. He's always there to like help the kids and push them when they need to be pushed. He's always there to talk. He's just a great person and a great coach. I'm glad he's the one right now in charge of the swim team.
That's great. So class reps, how involved are you with the planning of senior week and all the great activities coming up for seniors?
So class reps was more of a junior year event, club for me because during this past fall I helped the girls swim team with their carpool situation because they didn't have enough seniors, and just finished off swim season, so I haven't had much time to go there, but I hope to get back into it.
That's great.
Just one other thing I'd like to add about I've been to a couple meets this year, and one of the things that Craig does as a coach is keep kids that aren't top athletes, and keep them involved in their team, and they stay. I mean, that's a skill. On behalf of Chelmsford High School, and the Chelmsford Rotary Club, I want to congratulate you. And engineering's tough. You're going to have to put your nose to the books, but we know that you can be successful there, and The Rotary Club wishes you the very best.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job, Alex.
Thank you.
Our other student of the month for January from Emerson House is Sara Bourdelais. Unfortunately, Sara couldn't make it with us today, but I do want to highlight some of her great accomplishments here at Chelmsford High School. She's taken multiple AP courses. She's involved with Senior Odyssey, Music, and Art. She's a member of the National Honor Society, National English Honor Society. She's also the captain of the varsity gymnastics team. She's an amazing gymnast. She's earned a significant amount of honors, MVC All-Conference, Boston Globe All-Scholastic, Athlete of the Year. Some really impressive accolades for Sara in regards to her work with our varsity gymnastics team. She's a class rep, and she's looking to potentially, pursue gymnastics in college. So we want to just note her great work here at Chelmsford High School.
Thank you, Dr. Lyons. So that concludes January's edition of Lions Pride, where we celebrated January Students of the Month. And congratulations to all our students of the month of January. We look forward to seeing you next month in February. We'll see the next 6 kids. Thank you. Until then.